Tonight, on enemy territory, the state opposition embarks on a tour of the regions. First stop, Labor stronghold Whyalla. And a Spencer Gulf caravan park robbed of its recycling bins after a brazen thief steals all 25 from the popular holiday spot.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. First tonight, a 15-year-old girl has been detained and taken to hospital for assessment after reports of a disturbance at a Port Augusta school. Police will allege a student kicked a door and assaulted 2 staff members. The staff were not injured and there were no weapons involved. The school was locked down for a short while the incident was managed by staff and emergency services. State opposition leader David Speers and the majority of the Shadow Cabinet are touring the Spencer Gulf this week. Today they were in Whyalla, with Mr Speers admitting the Liberals need to reconnect with regional voters.
Almost 6 months after the state Liberals were thrown out of government, opposition leader David Speers is back in the Spencer Gulf visiting the Whyalla Steelworks with Shadow Mining Minister Stephen Patterson and member for Flinders Sam Telfer.
It is just a real privilege to be able to come here as opposition leader and understand the way that this business is modernising itself and positioning itself for world markets in 2022.
Mr Speers has plenty of work to do to regain voters' trust in the Spencer Gulf following the Liberals' drubbing in the state election.
My job is to completely refresh, renew, reinvigorate the party and take it to a completely different place, to be quite honest. This is my 2nd visit to the Eyre Peninsula since becoming leader. Now, I have been leader for less than 150 days, and so to do 2 visits to the Eyre Peninsula, I think shows very clearly my commitment to regional South Australia.
The Liberals suffered several high-profile defeats in the state election, including Deputy Premier Dan Van Hulst-Pelican to Jeff Brock and ex-Liberal Fraser Ellis retaining the seat of Narunga. With leadership spills a prominent event during their last term in opposition, David Speers is facing an uphill battle. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Police in Whyalla are trying to track down more than 24 wheelie bins after they vanished from a caravan park at the weekend. Officers are also trying to determine if the wheelie bin thefts are linked to a nearby break-in at the football club on Beach Road. All 25 bins were taken sometime between 5 p.m. on Sunday night and 9:30 on Monday. The dark green bins with yellow lids were also full of cans and bottles when they were taken. The Beach Road break-in happened in the early hours of Monday morning, with alcohol stolen from behind the bar. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of the stolen wheelie bins or who saw any suspicious activity that night around Broadbent Terrace and the Whyalla foreshore is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. It's been a few months since Port Pirie residents first voiced their frustrations about the chairlift being broken at the Northern Festival Centre. But now something tangible is being done about it.
The Northern Festival Centre is meant to be a place for everyone to enjoy, but due to circumstances out of their control, that hasn't been the case, with the current chairlift out of action since July. But the team at Country Arts SA have been working on a long-term solution.
The only solution was to go and investigate putting in a full passenger lift, and so that is what we're going to be doing.
The new lift is an investment for the future, providing access for people of all abilities to enjoy all that the centre has to offer.
Great arts and culture and theatre and film in the Keith Michelle Theatre, which is really what we want, everyone to be able to have a great time at the Northern Festival Centre.
The wheels are in motion for the lift to make its way to the centre.
The key will be to get that lift here as quickly as possible, because once it is here, then it's just a matter of time then to actually undertake the installation itself.
It is estimated that the new all-purpose lift will be fully operational by mid-next year. In the meantime, other safety measures are being considered to ensure the safety of patrons in the theatre. Arts Minister Andrea Michaels also pleased by this announcement, saying it's absolutely vital that the centre is accessible so that everyone in the community has an opportunity to enjoy the arts. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
As places like Europe and China suffer through their worst droughts in centuries, while 1/3 of Pakistan is underwater, the United Nations is warning of climate change doom. In the Spencer Gulf, preparations are underway to prepare the region for the next drought, with several projects underway.
Australia is no stranger to droughts impacting the lives of thousands of farmers, tourism operators, and the increasing cost of living. In Port Augusta and Orroroo, the SA Drought Hub has been working for the past 14 months on solutions to mitigate the worst effects of the next drought.
They're really focused around improved management of both within season, so around improved management for feed-based utilisation and prediction of where livestock need to be, and also improved water infrastructure or management of water through improved water infrastructure.
While the projects are still new, results are coming out.
The results from these will come through the 2022 season. We're already seeing differences in terms of improved ability to manage ground cover and pasture utilisation in the inside country.
In July, South Australia experienced well below average rainfall, and research from the 60s to 2010 suggests droughts are becoming more common in the state. Overseas, Europe and China are suffering through the worst droughts in 500 years, with dry riverbeds going viral. Meanwhile, the United Nations has issued an appeal for Pakistan, with 1/3 of the country flooded, with up to 50 million people displaced, thousands dead, and tens of billions of dollars in damage.
Let's stop sleepwalking towards the destruction of our planet by climate change. Today, it is Pakistan. Tomorrow, it could be your country.
The effects of climate change are growing more severe year by year. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, through trial and error, tackling the Mallee Seeps set to continue for another year. And Broken Hill locals encouraged to attend a public hearing about the rising cost of water in the Far West. Welcome back. The Eyre Peninsula Landscape Board will extend the Mallee Seeps project for another 12 months, aiming to restore sites that were impacted by January's heavy rainfall. The continuation of the project will allow the team to monitor data and rehabilitate trial sites.
A chance to turn the tables. The initiative to put a stop to Mallee Seeps extended for another year. Farmers will continue to work with the Eyre Peninsula Landscape Board to combat Mallee Seeps on their properties.
A Mallee Seep is an area that's starting to become degraded because of a perched water table that has come from excess water coming usually out of sand hills.
The board will fund the $20,000 project over the next 12 months. Landscape officers working to identify where the water is coming from and find out its salinity.
Can we intercept the water coming in by using things like strips of lucerne or in some cases even trees to try and use that water and use it positively.
6 trial sites were selected and have since made valuable progress after January's heavy rainfall, which saw 47.4 millimetres fall in just one day in Port Lincoln.
We've got sites down around Lock and Rideau where, the farmers got some really good lucerne established. Just by throwing out salt-tolerant grass seed, we've managed to get some good cover within 12 months and really turn that site around.
For more information, you can visit the Mallee Seeps decision tree online. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Members of the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal will be in Broken Hill next week to hold a public hearing about water prices in the Far West. The session, which is set for next Tuesday, will give locals the chance to air their concerns.
IPART wants to hear from you. The Tribunal, along with other key stakeholders, will be in town to discuss the draft plan on what Essential Water can charge for wastewater services.
We'll also have Essential Water and Water New South Wales presenting, and people will be able to ask questions of them.
The members of the panel will be interested about what residents on the ground have to say, not just the cost of services, but water quality as well.
We want to consider all relevant information, and it's something that we really value is getting input from customers and from the community.
At the moment, there hasn't been any submissions put forward on the draft process, but there will be plenty of time for people to get those in, as they don't close until next Friday, September 9. Anonymous submissions also welcome.
Unless people have a reason for asking for them to be confidential, and they do have the option to do that, we do generally publish submissions and make all of that public and consider all of them very carefully.
The hearing will be in Broken Hill, with members travelling out to surrounding towns.
We are, I'm hoping to get out to Menindee and Sunset Strip and Silverton. We'll probably divide up where we get to and who we meet with.
The hearing begins at 10 a.m. and will be held at time on Argent. Joshua Mercer, 7, Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. High occupancy rates at Spencer Gulf accommodations. And the Far West nurse putting on his running shoes to help eradicate prostate cancer. Welcome back. Despite an extra cold winter this year, it didn't discourage travellers from hitting the roads and seeing our slice of the world. This July saw the best regional occupancy on record, surpassing pre-COVID levels. And townships can expect more visitors, with summer just around the corner.
A record-breaking July for regional occupancy. Tourists are packing their bags and hitting the road, exploring some of the state's finest townships.
Traditionally, it's a quieter time because it's winter, but people are really seeing how beautiful our state is and green and the opportunity to spend time with family.
This July saw an average occupancy for regional accommodation of 57%. Based on the STR data, the Eyre and York Peninsula also seeing an increase.
They saw a 9% increase in occupancy, so they do base their data on 10 rooms or more, and we do get grouped into the York Peninsula for data accuracy reasons.
Across the two regions, it has risen 65% from 55 pre-COVID.
Well, look, I think the rates for Eyre and York Peninsula are exceptional. In fact, across those two regions, it was up 65%.
Some of the region's biggest hero attractions remaining a draw card for visitors.
The cuttlefish in Whyalla, and then also the whales at Fowler's Bay and Hatter Bight, they do a really good job of driving visitation to the region, and we can really see that in the numbers.
And tourism workers are hopeful that this is only the start, as the visitor economy is set to increase come summer.
Over the summer period, that peak December, January season, we're already looking at around 59% occupancy, I believe, so people are really getting the message that they need to book in advance.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Broken Hill nurse is on a mission to raise awareness and funds for prostate cancer research. Ruben Hillier is running 72 kilometres and is urging the community to join in on the worthy cause.
Aiming to collectively cover the distance to the moon. That's what those taking part in the long run are aiming to do. And one man is doing his bit to raise awareness in the Silver City.
It's a great way to get some publicity out there about prostate cancer, and a great way to raise some money for my Prostate Cancer Foundation of Australia.
A local business has hopped on board as well, joining Ruben and doing some running of their own.
Having said that, Thrive Medical have been awesome. I've managed to get, they've volunteered, so the girls from Thrive Medical are all running for this as well.
Prostate cancer recently overtook breast cancer as Australia's most common type of cancer, with 66 men diagnosed every single day.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stigma and fear around checking for prostate cancer. I think that's probably from back in the 80s and 90s when the blood tests weren't so well understood.
Knowing your family history is important when it comes to prostate cancer as well.
Talking about your family, so if someone in your family's had prostate cancer, or even if someone in your family's had breast cancer, they're all things that can put you at risk.
The long run kicks off tomorrow and runs through until the end of September. And it's not too late to join in the mission to the moon. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Residential home care in Clare is at the centre of innovation when it comes to supporting their residents with dementia. Through funding, the Tova to Fill machine was pioneered in the Netherlands and helps dementia clients reconnect with memories through an interactive projector. The projector uses light, colour and music to stimulate physical, social and cognitive activity. And the best part is, anyone can use it.
Eric has been absolutely fascinated with it because he's been such a good sports person over the years, but he still has really good eye-hand coordination.
It's hoped that the machine can be installed in more facilities across the Spencer Gulf and the country, as nurses and families have noticed a positive change in participants' behaviour. Stay with us after the break. Will the arrows be green or red in this week's Fuel Watch? And we'll have the weather details with John Hunt. Welcome back. After last week's high prices, you'll be relieved to know that the vast majority of petrol prices in our region have in fact gone down. Let's hope this trend continues in the coming weeks. Here's Annabelle Francis.
There is something to be positive about this week, as we see plenty of green arrows. So if you haven't already, it's time to fill up. Starting with unleaded prices. The cheapest unleaded petrol can be found in Port Pirie and Kadina at $1.69. Prices in Port Lincoln, Whyalla and Port Augusta are similar at $1.72.8, $1.72.5 and $1.81. At the higher end is Adelaide at $1.85 and Broken Hill, the only place to increase in price this week, from $1.82 to $1.94. Moving to diesel. Once again, the price of diesel has decreased everywhere except in Broken Hill, where it has increased by 2 cents, now sitting at $2.05. There is a big drop in Adelaide this week, from $2.09 to $2. The lowest price in the region can be found at Port Pirie at $2. Not far behind is Kadina at $2.01. Port Lincoln and Port Augusta at $2.02. Whyalla is currently sitting at the highest price at $2.05. Lastly, we will look at Autogas. It's great to see all green arrows, and the price at Port Augusta staying the same at $1.19. The highest price can be found in Port Lincoln, sitting at $1.28. However, it has decreased from last week's price of $1.32. Adelaide has broken away from $1, sitting at 90 cents. Not far behind is Port Pirie at $1.05 and Broken Hill at $1.10. Prices at Whyalla are slightly higher, sitting at $1.18. These prices are regional and metro averages and do not represent one particular business. If you do see petrol at a lower price, let us know via our socials.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with John Hunt. John, how was the last day of winter?
It was a beautiful day across the region, Maddie. No rain in our pocket of the world either. Taking a look at some of today's temperatures, 21 degrees in Port Augusta this afternoon, a few degrees cooler in Woodness 17, and it was 14 degrees in Kadina for most of the afternoon. Looking more broadly at today's weather map, Port Pirie reached 18 degrees quite late in the day just after 4 p.m. 16 was the top temp in Whyalla, 14 in Port Lincoln and Adelaide. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a weak cold front will move over the southeast corner of South Australia tomorrow. A second high pressure system will develop south of the Bight by Friday morning and then move slowly eastwards to be just west of Tasmania by Sunday night. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Variable winds about 10 knots, becoming south to southwesterly 10 to 15 knots in the middle of the day. Seas around 1 metre, south to southwesterly swell between 1 and 2.5 metres. A shower or two in 16 in Port Lincoln on Thursday, not exactly the best way to start a new season. Similar conditions in Cleve as well, also 16. Woodner will be partly cloudy and 18 degrees after an overnight low of just 2 degrees. Mostly sunny in Whyalla, 17 degrees. Port Lincoln will just creep into the 20s after getting down to 5 degrees tonight. Partly cloudy and 16 in Kadina tomorrow. Mostly sunny in Port Pirie between 4 and 18 degrees. Partly cloudy and 14 in Clare. And Broken Hill will be mostly sunny and 19 degrees for the first day of spring. Taking a further look through the week now, Friday's starting to look more like spring. Partly cloudy conditions across most places in the middle of our map. 19 in Port Augusta, 17 in Port Pirie and Woodner, 16 in Whyalla and Broken Hill. Moving on to Saturday's outlook now. More of the same for the first day of the weekend. Partly cloudy with some sunshine everywhere except for Port Lincoln. Port Lincoln instead will be cloudy and 15 degrees. Taking a first look at Sunday's forecast now. Temperatures will be a few degrees warmer than Saturday's temps, between 15 and 21 degrees. Port Augusta will be warmer than Coober Pedy, but only by 1 degree. And that's all the weather from me for tonight, Maddie. Gee, it's great to have some warmer weather around and bring the shorts and t-shirts out. I'll be back with a weather update, but for now, it's back to you.
Thanks for that, John. Nice to have you on Weather Duties. And that's the local news this Wednesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.